Over the Thanksgiving weekend, while we were all still trying to get over our food comas from Thanksgiving, because you know your boy was eating real good, Dave Ramsey put out an Instagram post on things we should invest in and things not to invest in. And well, I got a lot of thoughts on this one. But before I get into anything, and before I rip this thing completely to shreds, a couple of things to state. One, Dave Ramsey is actually part of the reason why I got into this whole financial thing. He's part of the reason why I started taking my finances very seriously. I actually talked about this with Tom on the Investing with Tom podcast. You can go check it up here. But then there was some changes that I had to make for myself. So this is not me throwing total shade at Dave Ramsey. Like I like to say, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, which is ironic because he has the baby steps, if you know what I'm saying. There's always good with bad. You have to learn how to take the good and throw away the bad. And in this situation, we about to throw away some bad, especially when it comes to Dave Ramsey's thoughts on how we should be investing our money. So let's get right into this, shall we? Whoosh. What's going on, people? It's your boy Kalechi back with another video. If this is your first time around these parts, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy anything that we talk about on this video, hit that like button. But anyway, let's get right into this. So Dave Ramsey put out this post on Instagram and he says the things we should invest in. He says invest in mutual funds spread equally in 4 categories: growth, growth in income, aggressive growth, and international. And then he says also to invest in real estate, except it must be paid in full. And then he says don't invest in single stocks, Bitcoin, or any cryptocurrency, whole life insurance policies, annuities, bonds, micro investing, oh my God, REITs, ETFs, and CDs. So yeah, this is Dave Ramsey's version of how we should be investing our money. He also said some other thing in the actual caption that I also want to mention to y'all. He says, wait to invest until you're debt free, except for your home if you have a mortgage. And you've got an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of your expenses saved. At this point, you'll be at what I call baby step 4, where you should begin investing 15% of your income for retirement. So this is Dave Ramsey's plan of how we should be investing our money. So let me get comfortable because I'm about to rip this thing to shreds because it's trash. I love Dave Ramsey for all the debt-free stuff. I would still say and tell every single person that if you're trying to get debt-free, just listen to Dave Ramsey continuously for him to charge you up and get you focused on paying off your debt. I will tell that to every single person. However, I don't think he's right about everything. I'll start off with just his wait to invest until you're debt free. I don't agree with this at all. When I was trying to get out of debt and paying off my $20,000 in debt, I didn't wait because guess what? Especially if you're my age and you're young, one of the things that is beneficial to us is time. Time is one of the greatest assets that we have, especially when it comes to investing for things to compound on our behalf. If I had waited, I would be much further on behind. Yes, it may take you a little bit longer to pay off your debt. And yes, for some people, you want to be risk-free and you won't want to deal with debt or anything like that. You're scared of debt. That's very understandable. However, I still think that we can learn to walk and chew gum. We don't have to do one thing at a time. We can be investing for an emergency fund and at the same time saving for retirement. We can do both. We can learn how to do both. One of the things you learn from doing both is you learn how to make more money very, very quickly. That's one of the key things that happens. Dave Ramsey is focused a lot more on cutting your expenses, but I think one of the things that we miss out on a lot of the times is that we need to increase our income. Because remember, the solution for wealth is equal to income minus expenses equals wealth. So if we can increase our income as we lower our expenses, we can build wealth much faster. So now let's get into the specifics that he talks about when it comes to what we should be investing in. Mutual funds. I've talked about this in the past and I have a video and I'll link it up here. The difference between when you have a mutual fund that is costing you 1% versus investing in something that doesn't have a fee of up to 1%, it makes a massive, massive difference in the long run. I don't believe that in this day and age that anybody, literally anybody, should be paying higher than like literally 0.5% for anything. Because in this day and age, we have low-cost index funds. We have low-cost ETFs. We have low-cost target date funds from a plethora of different providers. There is no reason, absolutely no reason that anybody should be investing in any of these mutual funds that cost us so much money. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this, and the reason why this upsets me so much, is because I did this. I literally followed Dave Ramsey's plan and followed it to the T, and I invested in growth in income, aggressive growth, international, which, by the way, when you look through these funds, one of the things you start learning about, especially as you learn and you grow, this is supposed to be your diversified fund. But when you look through it, one of the things you find out very quickly is a lot of these things are very similar. The companies within them are basically the same. So in other words, you're basically buying the same fund 4 times over and paying 4x the fees. In other words, it's costing you that much more in returns going into the future. So no, do not do this. Please do not do this. You can literally just buy a low-cost index fund and track the total market. It'll cost you like 0.03%. Man, I'm sweating because I'm getting so hyped up. Please go to Fidelity, go to Vanguard, go to Charles Schwab. All of these have funds that cost you like 0.03%, if not lower. So please do not go with this. Please don't get yourself caught up in this Dave Ramsey thing, because it will end up costing you so much money down the road. Then the next part that he says we should invest in is real estate paid in full. Now, I can't speak to this one specifically because I don't invest in real estate, but one thing that I will say, if you're investing in real estate, it means that you're playing with the numbers. And if you're playing with the numbers, you understand inflation, you understand interest rates, and you understand how that can work to your benefit rather than you putting all your money into a real estate asset, how you can take that money, invest it so that that money is working for you while you have the real estate asset. I'm just going to put that out there. By the way, side note, another thing I don't agree with Dave Ramsey on when it comes to homes, please, if it's your first time home, if you're buying your first home ever, please don't put down 20%. There is literally no reason that anybody, especially if you're around my age, should put down 20% on your first home. Because even as much as people try to de-risk it, guess what you have to do? In order for your home to be fully risk-free, you have to own the entire thing. So there's no benefit to most of us, which our first home are not our forever home, for any of us to actually put down 20%. That's just a side note. I know a lot of people are going to talk about PMI, but PMI ain't going to cost you that much. That's just a side note. But anyway, the things he says not to invest in. Single stocks. Now, I will say this. Single stocks are not for everybody. However, like I like to say, know thyself. In other words, if you think you can spend the time doing the research, learning how to invest properly, there is no reason for you not to learn how to invest in single stocks. And even still, like I tell my family and I tell my brothers and sisters, if there are companies that you see that are doing great things, there is no reason for you to spend, 15 to 30 minutes in like every quarter keeping up with one company when they release earnings reports. Like my sister loves Tesla. She's been keeping up with Tesla, even though she's not somebody who loves this whole investing thing. But the point of just saying like, oh, you shouldn't invest in single stocks because it's too dangerous. Guess what? When it comes to investing, when it comes to trying to build wealth, guess what you have to do? Sometimes you have to take a risk. So therefore, I'm not going to say that everybody should not invest. But then again, Dave Ramsey is setting this whole thing up to be a one size fits all. Know thyself. Know who you are. Can you spend the time, or do you even want to spend the time researching and finding about companies? Number 2, Bitcoin, Lord, or any cryptocurrency. Whenever I hear people that are in the age range of Dave Ramsey talking about cryptocurrency, Charlie Munger falls into this category as well. Y'all just sound like boomers. Like, I'm gonna be 1000%. There's no way that you can keep paying up with the things that are happening in the crypto space and you don't see some advancements and some advantages that it brings on for the world as a whole. Like I said, with a lot of things, people have good advice, but not all advice is good. In this case, when it comes to Bitcoin, I'm not listening to Charlie Munger. I'm not listening to Dave Ramsey about it. No, I can't listen to them because they're not open-minded to the idea of it in the first place. It doesn't matter what we feel about it. This thing is happening. Whether you like it or it's not, this thing is getting implemented each and every single day. So whether we want to turn our back to it or not, guess what? I would rather be benefiting from this thing growing than me sitting on the sideline saying, oh, I wish I did. I agree with him on whole life insurance policies because I believe those things are traps. There are specific people that need it. You don't fall into that category if you're watching this video. Second one, annuities, also very dumb. Please don't do an annuity. Bonds, I disagree with him on this one because as much as bonds can be good, can be bad, especially in the environment that we are right now, bonds are basically based on interest rates. So if interest rates go back to where they were in 1970s, which I doubt they will ever go back there, they can provide you with great income with a lot less risk, especially when there's the United States government that's paying you those interests. So I don't agree with him on the bonds thing. Bonds can be a very good investment. Next, he says micro investing. So when I saw this, I was like, what is micro investing? So I did a little bit of research. I did a little Google to decide what exactly is micro investing? And then I went on Investopedia, my favorite website to learn about anything. And you know what micro investing is? It says on micro investing, micro investing platform is an application that allows users to regularly save small sums of money. Micro investing platforms aim to remove traditional barriers to investing, such as brokerage account minimums, and encourage people to invest even if they have limited incomes and assets. Let's keep going. In the key takeaways, it says things that are involved in micro investing. Fractional shares. Dave Ramsey is telling us not to invest using fractional shares. Are you freaking kidding me? The last two on this list, oh my God, just pissed me off. I'm sweating. On top of it, he also says, don't invest in ETFs. What? Don't invest in ETFs. What are you talking about? You combine both of these things of not using fractional shares, which has literally opened up the entire world of investing to so many different people, with apps like Acorn, even though I'm not a fan of Acorn, with apps like Robinhood, even though Robinhood can be very special, with apps like M1 Finance, with apps like public.com, even right now with things like Fidelity, Vanguard, Charles Schwab. Every single one of these platforms opened up fractional shares because it makes investing more available to every single person. So please, that is horrible advice. So like I like to say, a lot of people have good advice, but not all advice is good. You have to learn how to chew the meat and spit out the bones, because a lot of this stuff that Dave Ramsey is talking about in this post, first of all, it really upset me because, as you guys know, I'm very passionate about this whole topic, and it really just annoyed me seeing this post being put out there. So please, guys, learn how to decipher information. Keep learning, keep growing. Do not stay in the same place. This was the thing that I did. I just followed Dave Ramsey to the T when I first started. And that's good up to a point. But as you learn more, as you open your mind up more, do not stay in the same place. Do not remain stagnant, just following one person to give you all the advice. Because as much as somebody can be right on a certain topic, it doesn't mean that they're right on every single thing. They may be missing some stuff. Because one of the things with Dave Ramsey is he's had experiences that led him down this road. So know for yourself, take the information that helps you and spit out the rest. It's very important that we do not stay in the same place. Even with this channel, there are some of y'all that outgrow the stuff that I'm talking about on this channel, because I focus on personal finance a lot. And for a lot of you, once you have it down, you don't need the refreshers all the time. So if you outgrow this channel, wonderful. It means that you handle your money properly. So please, do not just follow every single person's advice, even if they have good advice, to the T. Know thyself. Know thyself. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all on this one. I hope this wasn't a little bit too much. I know I kind of got out of hand here because this really upset me when I was going back through it, and I was trying my best to stay calm, but I just could not because this really annoyed me. But anyway, I'm gonna catch y'all up on the next one. Remember, generosity is always greater than greed. God bless each and every single one of y'all, and y'all boys out of here. Peace.